Welcome off the post. I'm Russ Cohen, brought to you by Coverall Exteriors and Lights on Electric. We got Anthony Mingione, and how are you?
I'm glad to know you've been brought in by Lights On and Coverall
Yeah,
Exteriors. It's good. Russ has been brought in by them.
I
That's
have. I have. There's a light bulb above my head. And we have Michael Jello. Mike, how are you?
And I've been brought in by McDonald's and Coca-Cola.
And we have special guest Murray Pam from Hockey Hot Stove. Murray, how are you?
Great, and I'm here with my Dr. Pepper Zero, and it's the latest sponsor of the Ottawa Senators. Great.
You know what's funny is I never used to like Dr. Pepper, but I do like their zero sugar
There you go.
version. It's actually okay. Surprising.
It's good. And they
Got
actually
100
put-
ingredients though.
As a-
I'm not sure either. I do
as-
like the taste.
As a diabetic, I'm sorry, anything with NutraSweet is poison.
Okay. Anyhow, that just kills all those potential sponsors.
Sorry.
Well, first question for you, Murray. Last year I spent a little time in Ottawa for the World Juniors, so I have a friend there, and I got to know the club a little bit as far as quirks and all. And it seems like they're really dependent on their goaltender being like 905 to 910. They won a lot more games than they lost if they got that. Right now, Allmark's not delivering that. So what do you think the issue is there, and do you think that's something to worry about?
I'm not so sure if it's something to worry about. Linus is generally a slow starter, and he's actually admitted that. Obviously, in training camp after I think the first preseason game, basically he said that as well, and he wasn't impressed with his own game, and obviously coming out to the season, starting the season. Again, the same sort of thing, like you said, he's got an 808 save percentage over the first 3 games. And I checked last season, he started out 2-4 as well over his first 6 starts. And then he went, like, after the first 6 starts, I think he went 23, 10, and 3 the rest of the way. So I think Linus is also one of those, I guess it's a goalie thing, goalies are a little different.
Yeah.
And he doesn't work out all summer long. He likes to spend his time with his family. He's got a couple of kids and whatnot, and he starts getting into the groove and working out again. I think, mid to late mid-August, I would say, or just around August. So a lot of the guys, the players they're going almost right away.
He waits until after that midsummer that they have, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when he comes into camp, it's literally he's, I guess, just into his working out. So he kind of sets himself and gets going. But again, you like him to be ready right from the start of the season. But it looks like it's basically he's mirroring the start from last season. I think he'll be fine. The coach seems to think he'll be fine. And I'm hoping now the fans, they're going to be relying on him, and hopefully he puts up the season he did last season. And of course, this year they also have Levi Meriläinen for the whole season. And remember that run he went on? He was there for a few weeks last season when Allmark was out, and he had 3 shutouts, and his goals against average for a period of time was under 2. So we're not sure how. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, that's probably not sustainable, but I'm sure Meriläinen can have his save percentage hopefully, in that average to 905, 910 on a steady basis, and combined with Allmark, they should be fine in the goaltending area. It's basically almost like every team in the NHL, though. If one of them goes down, then you have your issues, and I think that's it's similar to most teams. And if one of them goes down, you're looking at a Matt Sogard who's just hasn't been able to sustain himself at the NHL level.
We know Linus Allmark is a slow starter. It only took him 7 seasons to get started in the NHL after 6 seasons in Buffalo. Go ahead, Anthony.
There you go.
Again, obviously the Senators are off. I guess you could say, Mary, it's a bit of a slow start here. I know they're 1-2 kind of out of the gate here, but obviously big news with their captain, Brady Tkachuk, going to be on the shelf for upwards of 4 weeks here with his injury. What can you tell us basically about the injury at the moment, where things kind of stand with the Senators in terms of how they're going to try to deal with it? Because we all know they got to try to get off to a pretty good start here in what is going to be a fairly tight run to get into the playoff pictures here.
Exactly. Well, I was in the building and I saw it happen. My seat is at center ice, and he went into the end boards off the cross check of Roman Yossi. It was a pretty well, as far as cross check go. It was actually in like away from the boards, but I guess his momentum Brady was going. He tried to brace himself as he went into the boards, and I guess that's when he jammed his wrist. And he was seen after the game. Well, he left the game briefly. He actually sat on the bench for a couple of minutes before he went to the room, and he came back after a couple of minutes as well. He played. He actually did play the most of the game, but he couldn't go the final 9 minutes, and that's when we knew obviously something was definitely wrong when Brady Tkachuk wasn't on the ice, down 1-0, obviously, and in a close game. And we did see him after the game, just as we were walking to the locker room, and he was with the medical staff, and his wrist was taped up. And now we found out today, further news from the reports from the Board of Governors meeting in New York, and Michael Andlauer, the Senators owner, spoke to the media there, and he said that Brady Tkachuk is in New York under being evaluated, and they're going to determine if he needs surgery, which is not good, obviously. If he needs surgery, he's not going to be out 4 weeks. He's going to be out,
8 to 10 probably.
Yeah.
Exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
Kulikov of Florida just got injured, and he's out 5 months. So we don't know. I mean, obviously, you can't compare injury to injury, but he also had wrist surgery as well. So obviously, the Senators have to hope it's not the worst case scenario for Brady. But even so, I think they can sustain themselves for missing 4 weeks. Luckily, fortunately for the Senators' schedule, the next 4 weeks, they only play 10 games. And they're actually against 7 teams that did not make the playoffs last season. So they can withstand 10 games, I'm pretty sure. Last year, Brady missed the 8 of the last 9 games, leading up to the end of the season in that playoff race, and they went 5-2-1. But obviously, Brady's a straw. He's the heartbeat of the team, and he leads the team in, let's say, in a battle per se, but he is that person. He drives the team. Like, as Brady goes, so does the other teammates. And the issue without him right now is, again, we'll look at the 5-on-5 scoring, even strength scoring, which has been an issue for the Ottawa Senators all last year. They were second worst team in that area, and obviously he's a big chunk of that. So scoring is going to have to come from within as well, and that's where the big issue is right now with the Ottawa Senators. They haven't been able to do that so far, even with Brady in the lineup through the 3 games. I know they're 1-2, and it's early, obviously. The team has scored 7 goals. Shane Pinto scored 4 of them. And his teammates, Ridley Gregg and Claude Giroux, are responsible for 2 of the other goals. That leaves only 1 other goal, which was scored by Dylan Cousins. So it's, again, they're going to have to score 5-on-5. They're going to have to do it without Brady. That's going to be tough, a tough go of it. But they need to find a way, because I don't think if he's gone 4 weeks, there's no move to be made there in that period of time. And the general manager, Steve Staios, is not going to be dealing from strength, that's for sure, in this one.
Murray, you mentioned Kulikov and being out 5 months, and Bill Zito, because of that, plucked Donovan Sabrango off of waivers. An Ottawa kid, a big kid. He's a left shot defenseman. So is Kulikov. So he's going to plug right into the Panthers lineup. And Zito has a history of, finding gems. So, this is, I mean, I don't think it's, a ridiculous loss in terms of, being something that's going to really kill the Ottawa Senators. But when you like organizational depth, and he's a young kid, so what are your thoughts on the Sabrango claim by the Panthers?
Yeah, he's an interesting situation. He was drafted, I think it's either in the COVID year or just before. So his development was stunted, and it took him a couple of years. Even he ended up he was in the East Coast League, he was in the AHL, and He he didn't develop at that time period during that time period, but I believe last year he was a real surprise at training camp, and he ended up getting a couple games in. And this season, without Tyler Clubman was injured during training camp, so he just went right into that left-handed D spot on the third pair, and he looked like an NHL defenseman. And he did really well, like you said. He's a big guy. He's not afraid to drop the gloves. He's okay handling the puck. He doesn't hurt you uh, in that manner. And what the issue, unfortunately, is that at the time you have your six defensemen, including they picked up Jordan Spence, obviously from the LA Kings during the summer, and they already had Nick Matt and Paolo. So the issue was at the time when they made the move for Jordan Spence, they assumed, I mean, the organization assumed, and probably rightly so, that Nick Jensen would not be ready for the season due to having hip surgery. I mean, normally the hip surgery turnaround is not a couple of months. In this case, Nick had surgery, I guess, the beginning of July or the end of June, and he was actually good to go for training camp, which was amazing and good for him on his recovery. But unfortunately for the Sens in the other way, they had too many defensemen. So they had, and right now they're carrying, even with Sabrango in the lineup, right now they're carrying AD, which obviously you don't want to do, and you want to give Sabrango playing time. But unfortunately, the situation came up with Bill Zito. Bill Zito's, he's a great general manager, and credit to him. He saw Sabrango was on waivers, and right away he plucked him right off the waiver wire, and that does hurt the Ottawa Senators big time, because he was probably the next left-handed defenseman in line to the three that they have in Jake Sanderson, Thomas Chabot, and Tyler Clubman. So now they're in a bit of a pickle if something goes down. I know Jordan Spence could possibly go to the left side if necessary, but other than that, they really don't have anyone, who can just seamlessly go into the NHL and play some games without trying to move a defenseman over to the left.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Zabrango is like he was good in the World Juniors. He's still only 23. Like it is a little surprising how it worked out. I'm a little worried, Murray, about Thomas Chabot. He's had minutes heaped on him from the very beginning, and he's off to a real slow start. What can you tell us about Thomas Chabot?
Again, I like Thomas Chabot and what he can do. He's a second line power play guy. He's a puck mover, but my personal opinion is he's suited for that second pair, and again he's also paired right now with Nick Jensen, and Nick Jensen right now he's a capable NHL player, but I don't feel that he's up to speed yet, and he played I think one preseason game I think at the end, and just to get him on the ice, and I thought he was just okay in that game, and I still think from his recovery that he's still finding his way, and I think Nick Jensen will get better as the season goes on. But again, I think because of that's where Thomas Chabot, he's relying on his partner as well, and I think he could be overcompensating for his partner in this case. And I know if there's a lot of they're playing back-to-backs. I think they have 15 back-to-backs, and they actually have one. I think they play Buffalo tomorrow and Seattle Thursday. It would not surprise me if Nick Jensen is actually sat down on a limited basis, especially in back-to-back situations, just to to take to let him recover more after games.
Right.
Murray was obviously taking a look at the Senators' top pairing. Artem Zubtsov, obviously, to what seems to be a really, really good start. What are you seeing out of Zub so far? Obviously, that's going to be a big part of any type of contention that the Senators are going to hope to have this year.
Oh, for sure. Artem was, I think, last season he was injured 2-3 times, I believe. He had a concussion, and he didn't have a great season last season for sure. And obviously he's put the work in, and what he can do. And I think I'm trying to remember, it was John Cooper, I believe, said that that pair of Sanderson and Zub is an elite pairing in the NHL. And what he can do, obviously they fit well together. Jake's all over the ice. and he can, obviously what he can do with the puck and his skating skill. And Zub is the buffer, and I guess what Zub can do is because of what Jake's doing, Zub can back him up, but Zub also has the ability to move the puck and shoot the puck as well. And he's a really good defender. He's strong on his skates, and I think the main thing with Zub right now is that he's healthy. And he came into camp, healthy, and he, like I said, as well as Nick Jensen did, he did the work this summer. And like I said, last season he did not have a good season, and we'll see where it goes right now.
Murray, the Senators are in Buffalo tonight. They're going to be displaying their alternate jersey, so I'm anxious to see that. Anxious also to see former Sabre Dylan Cousins, and based on the way things are going with Buffalo, I've just said he's going to score a hat trick. He's going to be the first star, and he's going to dance on the buffalo and the crossed swords at center ice. But I want to go back to last March, because with the injury to Josh Norris, it just calls into focus that deal. And I was on Jeff Merrick's show yesterday, and he played the embedded video of Kevin Adams negotiating with Steve Stais. And the thing I found completely unbelievable was that the Buffalo team doctor apparently gave the 100% all clear to Josh Norris. This is a guy who we've talked about has had multiple shoulder injuries. And I mean, I don't know how anybody could give him the all clear. He played 3 games in Buffalo and they shut him down for the season. And then he gets hurt 1 game into this season, and I think has mortally wounded the Sabres, because now they don't have a number 1 center. There's no disputing his talent, but I don't know how any organization could give him the all clear medically based on what we know about his medical history.
Yeah, I don't know. I know this injury itself. Well, his injury last season was an oblique, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
The injury last year was, I believe was an oblique, and the rumor is that this is a torn oblique, but the Sabres have not confirmed that. We don't know what it is. It's not a shoulder injury.
Okay. So I guess the medical, they were doing testing on his shoulder. He's had 3 shoulder surgeries, I believe. And I'm guessing that that's what the testing was on, I guess, before the trade was done, you would think. But the injuries that he has are, 2 of them at least are non-contact, off face-offs.
Right.
So that is interesting in itself. But as far as I know, this also may be an oblique injury as well, which is, again,
that's the rumor. That's the rumor.
It is, but it doesn't sound like it is a shoulder this time. But again, the trade itself, for Buffalo to do that, knowing the injury history, especially over the last few seasons, was mind-boggling. And what was even more mind-boggling, is it, you know what I'm going to say?
They gave up a 2nd-round pick for a guy 2 years older, for a guy making, I think, $800,000 more,
exactly.
And they got back Jacob Bernard Docker, and then didn't qualify him. Let him go to Detroit. And then they trade for and sign Connor Timmins, who I don't think is as good a defenseman as Jacob Bernard Docker.
You're correct in all of this, Mike. Exactly. Exactly. I couldn't understand it, and especially when they didn't qualify. JBD, didn't make any sense. He's a capable 6th defenseman in the NHL. There's no doubt about that, and especially on the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, he's in your starting 60. So it did make sense to what they did. As well, it wasn't like he was making a ton of money. He was making, $800,000 or something?
Yep.
It didn't make sense. It made 0 sense at all. Good luck to him in the future. But yeah, Dylan Cousins, he did actually, when he did arrive in Ottawa, he said nice things about Buffalo, and he wasn't going to say anything bad, obviously, and he fit in quite well. He didn't score a lot, but I think he got 5 goals, 11 assists in his 20 plus games in Ottawa. He did well. He did everything he was asked to do. And when he came into training camp this year, according to their fitness testing, he was the second best player in fitness testing to Jake Sanderson. So he's come ready to play this season. I think what you're going to see, he actually in the 3 games so far, he looks physically is definitely bigger, and he looks stronger on the ice. So you're going to see that tonight. And yeah, I think the change of scenery, I guess, does that for you. And yeah,
Murray.
so he's also going to be a fixture right now, especially with Brady out on the side. So you're going to see him probably get a ton of ice time tonight. And Drake Batherson is back in the lineup tonight as well. He's missed all the 3 games this season so far. He pulled a muscle, I believe, in the upper body area. As well, could have been oblique, but as well in a practice, and he missed. Well, he's been off for about 3 weeks now. He's going to be returning to the lineup, playing alongside Dylan Cousins on the right side. So, look, you're going to be looking at that. You're also going to look to see Levi Marilana's first start this season as well, and you will see those alternate third jerseys. Sure. They're actually. I thought at first when I saw a video of them that there was just too much going on with them. But I think once you see them in person, I haven't seen them together, the whole kit. I've seen the pants, but I haven't seen the socks that go. But I think they're going to pop out and they're going to be really sharp. But it's going to be an interesting combination.
Cool. Murray, thanks so much for coming on. Everybody should read them on Hockey Hot Stove. And yeah, we'll be watching that Senators Sabres game for at least a period.
I know. I'm gonna have the Blue Jays on at the same time in Seattle, and from on the side somewhere. And
well, I know how I'll be rooting for that one.
I
know. Thanks, Murray.
Hey, thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care.
All right. The second biggest story in hockey is the New York Rangers set a record. They haven't scored a goal at home in 3 games. They've gotten shut out to start the season, 3 games at Madison Square Garden. Listen, there's some things that have always happened at Madison Square Garden. They will always yell, shoot the puck. And if they don't start scoring on the power play, they'll eventually start booing. And they haven't scored in 3 games, and they started booing in the Edmonton game after a couple of failed power plays. So, I mean, I watched the game. It's not like there's a lack of effort, but the problem is when Mike Sullivan has to keep putting Connor Carrick out there because he's the only one kind of getting good shots on net, you got a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I do still have to couch it with 3, however many games the Rangers are in at the moment.
It's a record, though.
It is a record. So now it's definitely, as I said, it's time to panic. And Russ, I mean, let's start sounding that alarm, man.
I mean, I would panic if I had that logo for the Pittsburgh Pirates hockey team, because I looked at it and it looked like a jailhouse version of the Pirates logo for baseball. Mike, have you ever looked at it?
No, I've never seen it.
People should look it up. It's funny.
The funny thing is that I think the Rangers' only victory was against Buffalo, and that game was 1-0 until the middle of the 3rd period when the second coming of Bobby Orr, Carson Soucy scored. So yeah, I mean it's
Sam Carrick. Yeah, there's Sam Carrick. There's Connor Carrick.
Let's call the whole thing
Carrick. There's a lot of Carricks out there.
Let's call the whole thing off.
I'm not shedding a tear for you.
Yeah, it's good, Mike. But anyhow, the big problem is when they filled in guys, when Drury filled in players, like when Chris Kreider had to go, and of course he's scoring goals. We all knew he would. There's no net front presence, and then you fill in the bottom 6 with guys, and this is it. I mean, you can't expect Mike Sullivan to pull a rabbit out of the hat as far as the bottom 6 and part of the defense goes, and so that's something that's going to be a problem for them.
I mean, I thought, Sully was the magic wand for everything this year.
He's really good, but
he doesn't have enough tools to work with in order to move things along. And again,
Shesterkin kept him in that game as you normally would.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's been a few years since he's actually had a goaltender keep him in games.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a pleasant surprise. But yeah, the lack of scoring, I think, is definitely going to be a concern for them.
Yeah. So, and we saw that Jackie Spiegel said that Emil Andre got sent down.
Yes.
I don't think anybody
as well said it as well, Charlie. And
nobody was going to be surprised at that.
Yeah, no. And when the call up occurred, and I thought the first interview that Andre had, you got that feeling that he knew what the main reason why he was recalled was because they needed someone to be in that Cam York type of role, basically. Maybe not as a first pair guy, but at the very least have that element on their blue line that could at least give them some transition ability, which they patently did not have in the first 2 games on the road. And that was very, it required, I think, a lot of shouldering by the forward court to get back into that Carolina game. And then having, Andre in the game on Monday night did make a difference for them. But again, at the end of the day, he was up for Cam York. And he was, based on the comments that Andre made, he was not anticipating that this was going to be longer than a one game, and he would be back again with the fans, especially with the next opponent being the Winnipeg Jets, who have a very prodigious power play.
Sure, but my retort on that would be all of that's true, but also they're going to struggle on that third pair and bringing the puck up the ice now.
No, I agree. I would be looking to have him. You've heard me, Ross. I mean, I would prefer to have him on that third pair and have that continued, that third rusher, basically. I think in order for things to work for this defense, they truly do need another puck moving defenseman. They probably would like for it to be a bit of Zamula, but Zamula's because he gives you the combination, gives you that size, but his decision making has been so bad to start the season, going right back into preseason, that they want to bring a guy in just because he has size, but it's just I'm at the point now where it comes to Zamula is that it just gets tougher and tougher for me to see him out there and making questionable decisions on the ice.
Wait till Risto's back eventually, then it's really going to be impossible.
Yeah, I mean, in that certain, again, I'm going to be curious to see how that kind of all shakes out at that point too. There could potentially be, when you get to November, that might be a case where they begin to explore making moves here in order to have spots open up, especially if Andre continues. I mean, his first game in Lehigh, he was good. He was really good in the first game, and his game in Philadelphia was also good. So he's playing himself. In theory, he's playing himself into what should be a role here. And we're going to see whether or not, what that decision maker will be when Rasmus returns.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Bad news for the Devils. Jacob Markstrom's hurt, and they have Jake Allen, and Jake Allen can definitely hold down the fort for a certain amount of time. But this looked like a year where the Devils were going to get some early gains in the season, and Mike, it just doesn't seem like they're ever able to do that.
No, and Allen's a capable 1B, but I think their fortunes, everybody predicting them to either finish 1 or 2 in the Metro is tied to Markstrom being the guy and playing 50 to 55 games. But now you're going to see probably Allen play 2 of every 3 games, and then they'll probably call up like Nico Dawes, and he's had a couple cups of coffee in the NHL. So, I mean, there's not a great drop off there in terms of the backup, but there is a big drop off when it comes to Markstrom to Allen. And Russ, this is the reason why I'm a skeptic when it comes to the Devils, because if it's not Markstrom, it's Dougie Hamilton. And if it's not Dougie Hamilton, it's Jack Hughes. This team cannot stay healthy. Their key players cannot stay healthy. If they do, then I think they could win the division and they could be a serious contender for the Stanley Cup, but they never can. And that's the problem.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, we'll see how that's going to roll out. We also have a lot of sympathy out there for Nick Foligno. His daughter's getting heart surgery, so right now he's taking a leave of absence for the Blackhawks. We wish them all the best with that situation.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, he's from Buffalo, played for the Leafs briefly. From everything I've heard, Nick Foligno is a fantastic human being. They brought him into Chicago to be the captain to help lead that team with a young Connor Bedard, and we all hope for the best for his family.
Yeah. Last thing, not a food take, but a product take. So I kind of always laugh when these products now come out and they say it's either extra strength or super strength or boosted. And my theory is if you've come out with that, you might as well just do away with the regular strength. Why would someone ever take regular strength if you can get extra strength or super strength or boosted? My question to the panel.
For me, I would just say, there's times when you don't necessarily need that level, that there should be that sort of, you have choices in this case.
Yeah.
Extra strength sounds good, but it's usually for those people, I think, who are just like, I need it and I need it now, and sometimes it's just like a touch to take it off a little bit.
That's a Queen song. I want it all and I want it now.
Right.
Well, no, hey, Russ, as an old man, as somebody with sore muscles, I go over the border to get that extra strength Voltaren because the Canadian Food and Drug Administration decided that they will give that particular analgesic a 2.66% strength instead of the 1.3 in the U.S. So that just proves
And it matters. I've used it. Thanks
Yeah,
to Mike.
I just go that extra 9 miles right across the border to use my Nexus to get the Voltaren and some Chinese food when I am over there too.
And cheap soda.
No, not anymore because I've cut out soda.
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to be a good boy. I'll just say this:
Same here.
yeah, just
Once in a while for me.
a brief Leaf thing. The Easton Cowan debut and his second game, he looks like an NHL player. And they put him in a very favorable position. They played him with Nyes and Matthews. He has fit in well. He is not a defensive liability. He's not making rookie mistakes, and he's doing what we thought he was going to do. He is a irritant of the first order. He's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Ozzy Weisblatt slammed him into the net, and Philip Forsberg, who seems like a rather sedate guy, slashed him. So I think he's got a little Darcy Tucker in him. Which,
Well, I mean, I will say Ozzy. I know Ozzy, and he could have a temper too.
right?
So,
Yes.
Yeah. So, the Leafs are 2-2. They got swept by the Red Wings, and this shows how much of a sad organization the Detroit Red Wings have been the last few years. They were celebrating by playing tragically hip music in the locker room after they swept the Leafs. It's like, okay, you're celebrating like this was a playoff victory, and you haven't been to the playoffs in what, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. So yeah, cool your jets, and we'll see where you are in game 8.
maybe just the Canadians in the room wanted to hear it, Mike.
Oh, sure. Yes. They wanted to hear 50 mission cap. I'm sure they really wanted to hear that.
All right. I don't think that's that big a
Listen,
deal.
we've been getting, what is it? Blow it High Dough. What is the
Yeah.
song?
See, that's phenomenal.
We were getting that off the hop. Did we get that in the first game on pregame skate, Russ? Again,
I'm not sure, but we
I don't
did
think we
get
did on the first game, but preseason we were getting it.
Yeah,
We were all
preseason we got it. What we did get in the first game, though, was this ridiculously awful, loud bass beat mashed up into Baba O'Reilly, and even John Entwistle would not want to play the bass like that.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Here is like old man yelling at clouds. I've grown more and more sensitive to loud music I love listening to
It
loud
doesn't bother me, honestly, but it bothers me if it ruins the song. That's all.
Well, no. Okay. So what is worse? Having a cover band doing bad covers of classic songs, or having a DJ destroy classic songs?
I think the DJ's worse.
DJ butchering a classic song is difficult.
At least the cover band had good intentions.
Based on the way they played these ones, I don't know.
The quality of the cover. I guess it does. It depends on the quality of the cover band, and
Right.
I feel like the DJ is slave to a beat. Like,
Yes.
whatever beat he wants to marry to the song. And I sometimes think there's a degree of difficulty involved, because much like cover bands, it's like cover bands also, how good are they? But DJs,
Right.
in this case, you're trying to align a beat that you want with this song, and It's not an easy thing to do. It
No.
really can sound like a car crash on the ears.
Last year, last year, a band tried to cover ELO's telephone line
Oh boy.
in between.
What's a telephone line?
Yeah, and it's and I said at the time, Jeff Lynne is rolling over in his grave and he's not even dead yet.
Okay, and we'll leave it on that.
We have a pre-death roll.
Right, and we're gonna leave it on that happy note. That's it for Off the Post. We'll catch everybody next time.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.